Hello everyone, welcome to season 7. We are here in Spain for Formula 2. Today I'm commentating alongside Alati Jano, which you might recognize from F1. But yeah, we're here in F2 today, sunny Spain. Got 13 drivers. A couple of them are new for this week, as you might notice, but yeah, we're ready for a nice quali session. Hopefully we see some quick times in dry conditions, but yeah, I don't really have a reference as to what is a good quality time around here for the F2 guys, but got a few cars out on track now. See a Renault going out on track first and a Ferrari, so we'll join the action. We got Johnny out on track, who's a new full-time C driver in Renault, so he'll be looking to do a nice appearance here in Spain. But yeah, as to what the standings look like, I'll have a look in a moment, but as the drivers are making their outlaps for what should be the first of 3 runs, as the drivers are probably going to start on either the mediums most probably, or the softs if they're very brave, or they're going for a 2-stop. Well, probably not.
Medium.
Yeah, most probably. So yeah, the standings, we've got Robin in first, 60 points, winning in Bahrain, getting a second place in Australia. 45 points, Tenkati and the Toro Rosso, 1 DNF and 2 podiums as well. Then we got Robin's teammate Suomi in third place with 37 points. And then the 2 Williams with Gamer and Joki on 26 points, both of them. Gamer with a podium in Australia, and Joki with a 1 did not start. And then in 6th on the Red Bull with 22 points, Yeet in 7th, Asahina in 8th, Dinin 9th, and Matt on the Renault is in 10th on 14 points. So let's see who is the winner today. We are the only current winner we have is Robin in Bahrain. The winner in Australia, China and Azerbaijan, those winners have probably left the tier, so I'm not sure who they are, but
Finland in the wall in turn 2.
yeah, that has. Okay, that's an interesting place, but probably lost the back end in turn 2. I'll put the tires up. Probably best. There we go. Yeah, Dinin back on track behind Alfa Romeo of Suomi. Suomi, who is 11th in the standings, is 52 points off the lead, with a decent 6th place in Azerbaijan last week, so he'll be looking for his first top 5 finish today in Spain, as we've got the first lap time on the hard tyre with a 119.7 from Tenkate, the current runner-up in the standings, as Dinin loses it again and into the wall again. So the McLaren's lost it, and he crashes with Suomi. I think that's Rob, a new driver. Astro goes into P1 on the soft tyres, 119.4. I guess he didn't really push, as he wants to improve on mediums. But Johnny in 3rd place, 120.6. Both those cars back in the pit lane, Dinin and McLaren of Rob. But yeah, interesting incident there with Rob and Suomi. I think Suomi was on a lap probably. He hasn't completed it. But yeah, Rob wanted to reverse back on track into the racing line. Suomi's out on track now, off the track in turn 3. So quite a lot of action in the start of qualifying here, especially in turn 3. A couple of victims already there. Into the gravel trap goes the Alpha, and proceeds to a couple of donuts to heat those hards up. But Joki goes into P1 on a 1 minute 19.3 on the Williams, so he's looking good at the moment for Joki. He's not going for 2 consecutive laps on the hards, which is interesting, but yeah, let's see if he goes for an off lap and then a flying lap again, as we got more yellow flags.
Not enough ERS to do hot laps back to back.
That's true. So he'll probably back off for 1 lap, save up the ERS and go for another one, as the hards are not only durable but getting faster as the the run progresses. But we've got a lot of people back in the pits at the moment with 12 minutes to go. Not many at the moment out on track, most of them are on hards. Only Vihanen on the Ferraris on mediums, so we'll see how that one goes for him. He's quite early on for the mediums, he's on 2 laps as well on those, so I'm not sure if he's going to be starting on them, probably not. So yeah, still on board with Joki, who's scheduled probably to go for another lap as he's getting a good exit of the final chicane. And there we go, he's starting another lap, opening the DRS on the very long straight, and Tenkate behind him on a 19.329, pips him by 200ths of a second. Joki will try and beat that as he takes a massive slide on the exit of turn 2. At least he doesn't lose it, but he will be on a off lap again, preparing for a flying lap probably on the next one. Tenkate behind him, he's on an off lap as well. I don't think he's on a fly. No, he's not. He's got very little DRS or ERS, sorry. Vihanen on the mediums into P3, 19.3 as well. Top 3 covered by less than 400s. Hello Johnny, hello Robin. Yeah, glad to be back actually. It's a lot of fun commentating after a while, not gonna lie. Yeah. Well, back in the day when we used to commentate the action, the ERNF used to be amazing. And we got quite a thrilling start to the qualifying already here, so it's hopefully a sign of things to come. But yeah, we've got Tenkate is going to go for another flying lap. They've got quite a lot of time on their hands until they potentially go on the mediums for the last run. They've got 10 minutes, but Tenkate opts to go back into the pit lane. Joki on a standard ERS mode, in ERS mode 3. He's going for another flying lap, I guess trying to kill some time as well until the last run. But Warlock has joined us, so that makes it 14 for the race. He'll be starting from the back, I think, with a default setup as the park family is on. Yep. So 2
Robin
Ferraris.
On a lap.
Robin.
As well.
Yep. Current championship leader on the hards with just under 10 minutes to go. He's on a flying lap, so let's check this one out. Number 80 shining on the racing point as he opens the second DRS zone off the track, and the last one in that case. He enters sector 3. Looks quite slow through there. Probably doesn't want to burn too much ERS on this. Tenkate is still on pole. No, he's not. Rob goes into P1, 19.267 for the McLaren driver. Was previously involved in an incident on this qualifying session. Seems to be making it up with a fastest lap on the session so far. Robin goes across the line and he snatches that from him. 3/10 quicker than Rob with a 118.950. So that makes a bold statement from Robin, the championship leader, going for another pole position, although this particular lap is not going to be in too much, but he's showing off his pace as you would expect on the hards. It's also a good banker lap on the mediums for as well. I think that may be a lap to put him inside the top 10 either way, as a few people haven't set a lap yet. Most of them are still on the pit lane. F1 Brilliant, I believe is a reserve driver, not too far up the standings. He'll be looking for a good points finish today with 14 drivers on the Red Bull. He is on a lap and he's off the track now, so he's not on a lap anymore. The Force India goes past, and that's probably the run over for Brilliant. He's got grass on his tyres now, and he's got Force India behind him. Oh, and he's lost them. I'm sorry, but he's lost his time. trying to let the Force India through. That's a yeah, a racing point.
Indeed.
Well, that was weird. I mean, that wall is brilliant. Robin's going for another lap on the hard tires with 7 minutes to go. Has got a bit more action out on track now. People going on out laps. Raikkonen as well on his out lap, with a fair few people waiting for the 5-minute mark for the medium runs, which looking at those hard times, we may be seeing a 1:17 on the mediums for a pole time, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's see. But yeah, Robin's going for another lap. This may give us an even quicker provisional pole time at the moment.
Yeah, he was improving on sector 1.
That's always good to see. Into the sector 2 split then, 2.5 tenths up, so he is looking for a mid 118. A lot more aggressive through the sector 3, the beginning of sector 3 for Robert as well, so let's see. This could be a mid 118, which would be a very impressive time on the hard. Through the last chicane, we don't want to be hitting those two big curbs on the inside. Through the last corner, up into overtake mode, and it's a 1 minute 18.4 for Robin. 8 tenths quicker than Rob. That's a fantastic lap time for Robin so far in this session. But question is, can he repeat a similar lap on the mediums, or will someone else have the upper hand on those? Well, people are starting to go out on track with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. Robin is going back into the pits as we ride on board with Suomi, who has just put himself up into P3 but on a set of medium tyres, which is interesting. It's a 1 minute 19.3 for Suomi on the Racing Point, and let's see if he's going to go for a soft run in the end, or he's going for 2 consecutive laps on the mediums, which wouldn't be ideal, but let's see what his intentions are. Toki out on track as well. Astro on the Ferrari on medium tyres, navigating through the fast chicane of 1 and 2 and into the long right-hander. Johnny goes into P2 with a 1 minute 18.740. Good lap time by the British driver there in the Renault. Consolidates himself into P2 at the moment, with the most interesting part of qualifying still to go, so don't expect Johnny to stay there without lap time, but it's a good starting point. And let's see if he gets a top 10 in qualifying, or if he's going to go for another lap, because he's got a good amount of ERS still left. So 4 minutes to go. He could still lower the bar on the medium tyres. So let's see what Astro is doing on the mediums in sector 3. Still some people waiting in the pits. There's obviously Robin, who's just made it back. Rob, Suomi, Tenkate, as Deneen has made an end to his qualifying session after 2 incidents in the start. Sorry for that black screen, I'm not sure why it crashed, but could be in turn 3. It's yellow flag in sector 2 and 3, so I'd imagine it's actually in the same spot as Brilliant on the sector 2 split. It could be, but it's also quite easy to lose the back end on the right-hander there on the outside curb. Well, Astro hasn't improved his lap. He stays in P8. Robin goes out on an out lap as Johnny's back in the pits. Joki should be beginning or actually ending his qualifying lap on the mediums at the moment. Let's see where he puts his Williams going into the last corner now. A very big tank slap with on the exit. But either way, he's going to finish his lap and it's going to be a 1 minute 18.5. 300s off Robin. Robin stays on pole on the hard tyres for another minute. And yeah, very impressive lap by Robin on the hards there. Unbeatable so far, even on drivers on the mediums, as Joki retires from the session. Joki was 5th in the standings, 34 points behind Robin, so he was probably hoping for a bit of a better lap there, Joki. But either way, he's currently in P2 and it's not looking too bad. But we've got Matt on a lap now in sector 3, 7/10 up on his lap. He is looking to be improving quite a lot, hoping to go on the 18s.
Also, I think we have to keep an eye out for Raikkonen, because I saw that when hard that he was doing but abandoned, it was quicker than Robin's in sector 1, so yeah, he has faith. And now he's starting a lap with turn 1 and 2.
Indeed, so going to turn 3 now. Let's see the first sector split, as Matt a few seconds ago went into P4 just behind his teammate Johnny, half a tenth off him to 21.7. I'm not sure how that's comparing to Robin, but it looked pretty tidy.
Was 22-0 on hard.
Okay, so Raikkonen is up on Robin on the medium tyres. For Robin, a very impressive qualifying lap, and he's looking to be in a top 5 still at the end of this session with a hard tyre, so have to keep an eye out on him, as Raikkonen's abandoned his lap, probably got invalidated. And he's got only 48 seconds to go and he has to leave the space for some other cars. Let's see if he's going to have enough time to cross the line and go for another one. I'm not sure if he wants to.
Coming across the line, it's going to be big one, 17-6.
17.6 for Robin into pole, improving his hard time expectedly, but quite a lot of time to be found by the drivers if they want to size a challenge to Robin for today's pole position. But we have got a few drivers that could do it. Raikkonen still looking for it, and as he crosses the line with 10 seconds to go, we will see a lap by Raikkonen, but he's got a lot of pressure now. He hasn't got a timed lap. He's currently in P12 and he goes through turns 1 and 2 and into turn 3. It was a 21.7 last time out. He hasn't got that much ERS on him this time, so let's see what it is. It's a 21.8, so a very good first sector again by Raikkonen. Astro finishes in P9, a disappointing qualifying by him, and he's going to be starting on the soft tyres for the race if he stays in the top 10, which he will, as 3 drivers behind him have already retired. That might be another invalidation, it is for Raikkonen, so that's very disappointing for the Mercedes driver. Suomi in P2 on the soft tyres as well, very interesting, but it's a racing point 1-2 so far, with Suomi in second, a few tenths off Robin. Tenkate goes into P3, and very interesting by the racing point on the soft tyres. Robin looking to be on pole with the mediums, so he's on a very good spot at the moment. As Vihanen goes across the line, he goes into P4. So this is your grid for the Spanish Grand Prix, as Robin makes his way back into the pit lane as the pole man. He's gonna sit his racing point in the number 1 spot after qualifying with a 117.6 on the medium tyres. Very good qualifying lap, of course, with his teammates in P2 on the soft, so that could be even better for Robin, with his teammate possibly playing a number 2 driver role on the soft tyres. But let's see, Suomi will obviously want to keep second place, and after that try and get a P1 with a softer tyre. But this is your starting grid for Spanish Grand Prix, with Rob having a 5-place grid penalty, so he's going to drop down to P12, and also expect Warlock in P14 as the race will begin in just over 2 minutes time. So Robin on pole, Suomi in second, so Racing Point 1-2. Third is Tenkate, Vihanen in fourth, Joki in fifth, Johnny in the Renault in sixth, Robin seventh, Matt in eighth, Astro in ninth, and Deneen rounds off the top 10. We've got 4 drivers out of the top 10 starting on whatever compound they would like, probably on the softs, and probably most of them will go for the hard tires.
Yeah. Probably.
Hello Tom, hello Nolan. So it was a good qualifying session here in F2. Let's hope it's an interesting race. It should be. There's a lot of compounds in the top 10. Soft tires in P2. Got the pole man on mediums. I don't think we've got a hard tire in the top 10, but we'll certainly have one at least in P11 or P12. But let's see as the drivers are making the final adjustments. Warlock didn't seem to spend too long there on the grid making his changes, but Robin leads them away for the formation lap. Let's pop the tires up and see what everyone's got on. Raikkonen in 11th on the hards, Robin 12th on mediums, Suomi on hards, and Warlock in last place, going a bit more aggressive on medium tires. So those 4 guys will be ones to keep an eye out on. The top 10 are starting on mediums, 7 people, and 3 people on softs, and those are Suomi in P2, Vihanen in P4, and a bit further back, which is probably not very good for him, Astro in P8. So he's gonna have to make some places up in the start, ideally pass both of the Renaults ahead, which is Matt in 7th, Johnny in 6th. A good qualifying session from Johnny in 6th. In the Renault, of course, beating his teammate on his first race as a full-time driver in season 7. We'll have to keep an eye out on the racing points at the start. I'm not sure if Robin will be able to keep the lead. The very long run up to turn 1. Traditionally here in Spain, one of the longest run-ups into turn 1. So we'll keep an eye out on those Pink Panthers in the front row. Suomi will certainly be looking to get the P1 into turn 1. So hopefully it's a clean start as well, as we do want to see the people that we've got today, which is not that many. So
hopefully no astronaut with cosmic crash.
We'll see. So they line up on the grid, waiting for the Mercedes of Warlock to line his Mercedes up in the last place of the grid. And all eyes now on the front row for the start of the Spanish Grand Prix here in F2. It's round 5 and Robin's on pole, his teammate in second. Now the lights are coming on here in Catalonia. Robin on pole, lights out, and away we go. Good start from Suomi, pretty decent start from Robin as well though. The Renault back, making some places with Williams in 5th, the Ferrari in 4th, going side by side with Tenkate. Suomi down the inside, Robin keeps the lead into turn 1, around the outside he holds on. Suomi in 2nd, and Vihanen has actually made a place up into P3, so a good start from the soft runner there. A bit further behind, as you said, Astro in the last place. He's lost his wing on the soft tire, so that's his race pretty much over if there's no safety car. Deneen and Johnny fighting for P6 as the 2 racing points. Very good start from them, and Vihanen as well making a place up in the start from Tenkate. Joki stays in 5th, Deneen is up into 6th I believe, as Johnny started in 6th, he's now down in 7th, and Raikkonen, very good start from him on the hard, making 3 places up as Astro has had enough already. Warlock into P10, a very good start from him as well. Let's put the positions gained up. Let's see how they stand. 4 positions gained for Warlock, 3 for Rob, and 3 for Raikkonen as well. Deneen on 3 as well in 6th place. Very impressive start from those. Of course, Astro, the big loser there, in 6 positions lost from P8. Matt also a terrible start in down in P11 from P7. Robin, the leader, the fastest lap holder at the moment after lap 1. But yeah, let's focus on the battle for P5 as Joki makes his way up into P5. I'm not sure if there was a battle with Deneen, I don't think so. But yeah, all looking quite steady up in front. The gap between Suomi and Vihanen is around 7 tenths. Let's get the interval gap. There we go. So Tenkate already out of DRS from Vihanen on the mediums. Something which was expected, but again, it's disappointing for Tenkate. He's going to have to defend against Joki and Deneen behind, who both will have DRS from the next lap. Robin has got a 7/10 gap from Suomi, so Suomi, the Racing Point, is not going to be able to attack Robin in the opening stage of the race, which was ideally his best opportunity, and it looks like he's going to drop out of DRS as well in the next few corners. So interesting there from Suomi. He's not really pushing that much to stay within DRS, but also Robin has got very good pace. Got yellows in sector 2, might be for F1 Brilliant, as he's got half his front wing chopped off and the other half still intact, so he will be able to go back into the pits and repair that. That's Suomi down in P12. He's not had a great start either, or he dropped back from the DRS of Matt. But yeah, you can see there Suomi just hanging on into the DRS in the edge of the 1 second gap, but it doesn't look like it's gonna be there for much longer, as it's already up to 1.1 seconds and the detection point will be in a few corners time. So let's see if Suomi will be able to hang on, because if not, Vihanen is going to go for a move as Joki and Deneen fight. Joki is down to P6, Deneen up into P5, and Warlock facing the wrong way there in turn 4. What's gone on there? Suomi and Warlock, I think, tangled. I'm not sure if you saw.
No, I didn't.
So Suomi is now up into P11. I don't think Warlock and Suomi directly crashed into each other, but Warlock's gonna spin off in dramatic fashion there, as you can see. But yeah, Suomi up into P11. I don't think he had much to do with that, because it was quite a bit further back from Warlock. But either way, we'll have a look at that later on if needed. The stewards will have a look as well. But as we said, Vihanen's now got DRS. Suomi doesn't have the power of that DRS on the back of the Racing Point, and now he's vulnerable to Vihanen on the Ferrari, who's only 2 tenths behind. Raikkonen making a move on Johnny into turns 1 and 2, and he's going to make it stick on the hard tyres. Is Johnny going to be able to go around the outside? I don't think he is, but he's still hanging on there around the outside into turn 4. They're going side by side, but he's not going to be able to hang it in there. Very nice battling from those two. Rob also a spectator on those two battle, but he's not able to pick up the pieces. F1 Brilliant with a 3-second penalty, but yeah, good battle between Johnny and Raikkonen. We've got more yellows. That's going to be for F1 Brilliant. So let's focus on Suomi and Vihanen again. 4 tenths between them. Tenkate is a bit further back, and so is Deneen and Joki. So it's quite difficult now that DRS train is going to start to form up, as there's the Red Bull F1 Brilliant. Raikkonen will have to make a few tenths up on Joki if he wants to get the DRS. Suomi is back into the pits after 4 laps on the soft tyres, and a couple of them from qualifying, so that's the end of them. I don't think he's going to be able to go into the end on hards. No, he's not, so that's a 2-stop. Yeah, it looks like a 2-stop for Suomi. So that further,
he's probably going to try and undercut.
Rob is out in turn 2. He's lost the back end and straight into the barrier. So Rob is the third retirement of the race. So we're already down to 11 people, which is not great, but we've got the action we need in the...
Matt in the wall.
Matt is in the wall as well. Yep, he is. He's lost half his wing, which promotes Suomi into P8. Very not great pace for Suomi at the moment. He's picking up the pieces. He's not crashing and he's up into P8, so not bad for Suomi. Certainly not great for Matt. He's got half his wing and he's limping back into the pits on his Renault. That's a battle for second now. Robin, that's a further gain for Robin as Suomi goes into a two-stop strategy. Robin, without a doubt, going for the one-stop on the mediums, so he's looking favourite for the race win, but anything can happen. You know, we've got safety cars, VSCs that could slightly switch up the scene, but Tenkate is looking really close to Vihanen now on lap 6. Joki as well on the back of Denin, who's had a very eventful qualifying, but he's doing very good in the race in P4 at the moment. Only Suomi has served his one pit stop. The other ones are still on their qualifying tyres. So let's see if any of them will be able to make a move in the following DRS zone. Raikkonen still not able to get in the DRS. He's 1.1 behind Joki. He's on the hard tyres though, so I think in a couple of lap time those hards will slightly get quicker and quicker. And Tenkate is going for a move now on Vihanen. Into the hairpin after the second DRS, and they're going side by side. The Ferrari slightly into the grass, and the Ferrari spun and he's lost half his wing. The others have to take avoiding action. I think he slightly touched with Denin after that, but that's very unfortunate for Vihanen. This really wasn't needed there to go side by side, but they did. I didn't have a great camera angle, but I think he slightly touched Tenkate and he spun, so... Oh, and I think he's DNF there, so he's crashed with a lack of downforce into the pit wall entry. So that's another driver out of the race. We're now down to 10. The battle for second still continues with Denin and Tenkate. I think both out of that with no damage. Robin's lead is now up into 6 seconds, which is quite incredible. He's had the perfect first 7 laps so far, has Robin. Very good pace. Let's check Robin's pace on the first 6 laps. He's been very consistent. 21.9, 21.8, 22.0, and then back in the 21s with a 9 and an 8, and now setting a personal best sector 2. So you can see Robin's really putting in the effort in this race, and it's paying off. 6 seconds ahead of Tenkate, and nothing to worry about at all. Safety cars don't seem to appear currently, as we've got a lot of retirements on the track and off the track, but you know, the safety car is quite lazy on this game. But we've still got the fight for P2 as Robin limps ahead, and another fastest lap, very consistent pace. Raikkonen snatches the fastest lap, very good from Raikkonen, 21.7, and he's now into the DRS of Tenkate now, as he's past Joki in a move I didn't see. But Denin and Tenkate fighting for P2 still on each other's DRS. Let's see how the ERS from both of them is like. Tenkate on 22%, Denin on a bit more with 35, Robin's got 57, and Raikkonen on a lot of ERS, 65, with Joki on 75, so that's very impressive from those. It's going to come in handy towards the end of this stint. Matt on a fastest lap on the fresh softs, of course, at 21.517. So he's doing everything he can at the moment. He's got the extra point for the fastest lap. Let's see if he's going to stay like that. Usually for the one stop is going to come at the end of the race on the worn hards. Those get very comfortable to drive in the end of the stint, and very fast as well, so gonna have to wait a bit to confirm the fastest lap holder. the moment it's Matt, but let's see now if Raikkonen will be able to go for a move, as he's on a very good pace at the moment. But it's a bit too far back, and Tenkate has also got DRS, so he's gonna...
Yeah, Raikkonen just saying DRS.
Yeah.
Behind is too bad.
Wow, he's got 90% ERS now. Yeah, he's going long, so I'm going to be on clean air and he's not going to be able to save ERS, so I think he's doing it now cleverly, so good racing so far from Raikkonen. Yeah, and I think he's going to try and push towards the end of this stint and hopefully come ahead of either Tenkate or Dinin. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this is the only battle so far. The others are doing their race, quite a spread out field after P5. Robin lead up into 7 seconds. Tenkate now, a little mistake there. He might drop out of DRS, he has. That's a costly mistake for Tenkate on the Toro Rosso. Now he's up into... Yeah, absolutely, he's got 100% ERS, quite literally. He's got a full ERS and he's stuck on the gearbox of Tenkate. It's going to be no bother for Raikkonen. Tenkate squeezes him into the grass, probably a bit frustrated by a mistake as well, but he loses a spot and down into P4, so that's also going to cost Raikkonen a bit, as he's now behind Dinin and he doesn't quite have DRS. Gap's 1.1 seconds, but Raikkonen's pace is quite good. So let's see if he's going to be able on this lap to get the DRS. Tenkate is off the track and he's now going to lose another spot to Joki for P4. So it's all going badly for Tenkate at the moment. In the space of a few kilometers, he's dropped 2 places. I'm not sure what's going wrong for Tenkate. I think his tires might be on the end of their life, but he didn't really need to push there. Even on the last lap he was in DRS, saving some ERS. Even if he lost the position to Raikkonen, that was still good. He was still on the fight for P2, but yeah, these things happen, and the Toro Rosso is now down into P5 behind Joki, and now nobody is within DRS. But yeah, still eyes on the battle for P2. It's still the closest one we've got. And Dinin has actually closed in on Robin a little bit. All the gaps stayed the same, more like, which is a progress for second and third place. Robin probably is not pushing that much. Might want to go a bit longer into this stint, as he's got a good amount of gap to control his strategy as he wants as well. So yeah, Robin is looking to obviously extend his championship lead over his teammate, and of course Tenkate, who's made a mistake a couple of laps ago. Suomi down to P8. It's not looking great for him. He's also made a pit stop, but we'll have to wait a few more laps for the medium runners to make a pit stop to see where exactly he stands. Let's check the gap to leader. He's 27 seconds behind Robin. I'm not sure how many seconds exactly you lose. I think it's gonna be around 20 to 22 seconds. So that would be comfortably in second place for Suomi. But of course on a 2-stop he was gonna be wanting to do fastest laps at this rate. Dinin's back into the pits after 11 laps on the medium tyres. His first pit stop of the day. Yep, into the hard tyres. That promotes Johnny up into P5. Still no pit stop for him. Let's see where he rejoins compared to Suomi. Suomi is ahead. And compared to Suomi, I think Suomi is going to be ahead as well. It's going to be really close on the pit exit between the Haas and the Racing Point. The Racing Point on medium is going to try and go around the outside, but it's not going to be quite able to do that. That's really crucial for both of those guys' races, especially for Suomi's. He wanted to get ahead of Dinin on the medium tyres. He's on a 2-stopper. Dinin's going to the end on those. That's effectively now Suomi a pit stop down on Deneen, which is not good. But if he's got the pace to pull away, then I think he's going to do it with a 8 of DRS, and we're going to be able to see his true pace after that. Gap between P1 and P2, 8 seconds. Robin is losing a little bit of time to Raikkonen. Gap's now down to 7.8. Let's see if Robin pits this lap. He didn't, so he's going on to lap 13 out of 33. Tenkate is into the pits after 12 laps on the mediums, and Johnny follows him in. Both most probably going to the hard tyres to the end. Let's see whether they stack up against the likes of Suomi, because Deneen is definitely going to be ahead of them. Suomi is as well, so Tenkate is not too far back. I think Tenkate's main rival for this race will be Joki and Suomi, but Suomi's pace is not looking particularly good at this point. He's dropped back from the DRS of Deneen. Deneen, who's very close to Suomi at the moment. Let's see, DRS zone, of course, following up. It's quite frequent DRS zones on this track, although it's only 2 of them. The track's quite small. The gap between the DRS zones is only about a sector and a half between the first one and the second one. So let's see now. I think Suomi's not gonna put up much of a fight. He is. He defends the line. Deneen's gonna try and go around the outside. Suomi gives him the space, but Deneen on the curb is not gonna be able to get the traction he needs. So let's see now on the second DRS zone. He should be able to get him, or he's gonna be a little bit impatient, and he's going to go for a move on the corner, which you wouldn't expect. So yeah, that's just impatient from Deneen. I'm not sure why, but either way, Suomi is half spun. There's no damage for either of them, I think. So yeah, just an unnecessary incident there again. But either way, Raikkonen pulled in a few tenths again. 7.5 now the gap. It's looking good for Raikkonen at the moment. The second stint is going to be on faster tyres. Let's see if he may even be able to go for the race win today. It's going to be a long shot, especially if he comes out P3 or behind. But yeah, have to keep an eye out on the gap to Suomi and stuff. But it's looking good for Raikkonen so far in his debut race here in F2.
Yeah, he could have a chance to challenge Robin maybe. If maybe Robin does a mistake somewhere or something. The gap's really big, but yeah, it could come down.
Yeah.
But
So let's see. Robin's in the pits. Hard
hard
tyres.
And he will rejoin in clean air, so
Yep.
yeah.
Indeed. Let's see if Suomi is going to be able to pass now Deneen. Tenkate is also really close to Suomi. Suomi now. Oh, there's 2 Suomis. There's Suomi on the Alpha and there's Suomi on the Racing Point. So Suomi in the Racing Point, very close to 3rd place. Deneen. It's not be.
Going side by side almost.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of time.
Nicely.
Yep. So no move done from either of the drivers there. Gap between Robin and Raikkonen is probably gonna be a little smaller in a couple of laps time. It's gonna be interesting to see though. Gaps at the moment is 13 seconds with 18 laps to go. Suomi's looking really all over the place at this point. He's also looks like he's saving a bit of ERS. He's very slow on the straights, very slow on the corners, but he's just keeping his car where he needs to. And Tenkate still cannot get past. Seeing the exit, just don't go for another impatient move. I'll be great. I don't think he is, because he doesn't have the traction that Deneen had. Into the last chicane. good traction from Suomi, but interesting line. Tenkate is gonna go good exit, overtake mode. DRS probably gonna get past, and he is indeed. Suomi didn't, so Deneen stays in third. Suomi on quite old mediums at this point, so probably not gonna see him doing a move on Deneen anytime soon. Gap's now 12.8 between Robin and Raikkonen, so it is closing down by a couple of tenths every lap. Raikkonen is probably not going to pit for another 5-6 laps maybe, if he really wants to push aggressively. Robin's losing the back end there. Gap is up into 13.1 seconds, so you can see how costly one mistake can be. He's just lost 2 laps of progress there. Robin 4 tenths, that is, so yeah, it can be very costly. Let's see if it's gonna prove costly for the race win as well for Robin. And I really believe Raikkonen could go for the race win, as the mediums are quite a lot faster compared to the hards. So mistakes are gonna come into it.
If he can keep up the pace on the mediums, he could catch up to Robin.
Yeah, I think he could as well. But Suomi another lap behind the Deneen. He's closing in not so much in the straight, around half a second on the end of the straight. But now Joki is on the back of them as well, so he's going to join in the battle for P3, which is not a net battle for P3, of course. Suomi has to make a pit stop, which is going to unleash Joki on the back of Deneen, and that will then be the effective battle for P3. And then again we have to wait for Raikkonen to pit, so we see where he comes out. At the moment the gap to Raikkonen from Deneen is 23 seconds, so at the moment it's looking good for Raikkonen, as he does have clean air. Deneen has to worry about the cars behind him, and he's not lapping as quick as him, so you can see the gap increasing as well. The pit stop's probably around 22 seconds. If it's even 23 seconds, then that's fine for Raikkonen. I think he's going to rejoin in P2 just about. But yeah, let's see now. Deneen is had a very bad lap. Suomi is looking closer than ever. Let's see if he's going to be able to get the Haas down the straight now. Very long straight. Deneen is trying to break the DRS, the slipstream. Suomi pulls out very aggressively on the outside. He's going to try and go around the outside into turn 1. And it looks like he's got the move stick. Yes, he has. Then he's going to try and go for the switch back down to turn 4, but he's getting a lot of understeer now, and now it's going to allow Joki to go down the inside into turn 4, but he's not going to be quite able to get the run on him. So that is Suomi up into P3 on very worn medium, so that's quite impressive from Suomi, although the lap times probably weren't as good as the likes of Raikkonen and Robin ahead. Robin is closed in a lot. He's now 12.2 seconds behind Raikkonen, so this is a very crucial point to Raikkonen's race. He just has to hang on for 3 more laps on the hards and try and keep the laps consistent, because he's not going to be able to close in that much on the mediums to make it up. But you know, we'll have to wait and see how it plans out in a few laps time. When we see Raikkonen's pace on the mediums, but at the moment Robin's setting fastest laps after fastest lap on the hards, and that's not good for Raikkonen. Deneen's going back at Suomi into the run up to turn 1. I think this is going to be an easier move than Suomi did last lap, as Deneen moves ahead before the braking zone. Suomi slots behind into P4, and that's moved on by Deneen again, but the gaps to leader has increased by around a second from the last lap, so they are losing time from this, and they are probably losing the fight for P2, any chance they had against a Raikkonen or a fresh medium. But yeah, it's probably the fight for P3 we are looking at. Joki is kind of really patient behind Suomi. I think he should be trying to go for a move on Suomi at the moment, because he is going to go for a second pit stop. Yeah, Suomi's now losing a lot of time, and he's going to drop behind the DRS of Deneen. Joki has to do something about it. He has a look. Suomi goes wide. I don't know if Joki's gonna have a chance there. He's not, and this is probably really frustrating for Joki, as he has to sit behind Suomi, who still has to make another pit stop. Robin sets another fastest lap into the 1 minute 20s now on the Racing Point. That's another second chopped off Raikkonen's lead, so Raikkonen has kind of dropped off the pace now. He's not looking as good as he was a few laps ago. Suomi really slow on the straight. Joki flies past and into P4. Another hunt to P3 begins for the Williams driver. He's going to try and go for the podium this race, as is looking very possible on 2-lap more fresh tyres. And Denis, who's going wide, that's possibly a warning for him. I'm not sure if he has a penalty, but we'll see a bit later on. Robin's continuing to get half a second on the first 2 sectors alone. Suomi's back in the pits.
I think Raikkonen will need to keep this.
I think he can. I mean, Suomi's on 15 lap old mediums and he's doing quite well. I think Raikkonen could do 13 on them.
And he is pretty.
Yep. Into the pits goes Raikkonen. Let's see, Robin's now in the final chicane. He's going to be around 11-12 seconds ahead of Raikkonen, who's got the whole pit stop to cover now. As he exits his Mercedes pit stop, Robin goes by and Raikkonen has to sit patiently on 80 kilometers an hour until the end of the pit lane. Gap is up until 7 seconds, 9 seconds. And he's probably going to go, yeah, he's going to stay at 10 seconds, so 10 seconds, 13 laps. Let's see if Raikkonen can do it, and he's starting right now. There's no time to you know, back off and go for a fastest lap or anything. He's going for the race win or nothing here. So yeah, we're going to keep an eye out over the next few laps, his pace, Raikkonen's, but Denis is looking quite good in P3 at the moment. It's all over the place, but that's fine. Joki is still behind him, so see the straight line speed between these two as well in comparison for the first time this race. Suomi's dropped back from the DRS of Joki, which is not good. I mean, he's definitely not going to the end, Suomi, so I think he's just trying to hang on to go on a set of softs maybe, as Joki has a look for P3.
No.
No, okay.
No. Mediums. He should fix that.
I think he would be like last lap or 2 laps ago if he was going on mediums. That's why I'm just wondering, because I think if he goes 3 more laps, I think he could go on softs, but he's going back into the pits, so yeah, that's a set of mediums probably. So let's see Raikkonen's first out lap. It was 30.1 on the middle sector, 27.2 on the last one, which was 3 tenths and 6 tenths quicker respectively from Robin. So that's around a second gained, I'd say, on the first lap. Gap is 9.2, so it's a bit less than that.
Not gaining enough.
I mean, he is gaining enough, but he's not going to be gaining 8 tenths a lap every lap, I think, for the next 12 laps.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think 8 tenths is just about enough, but you can see already he's only gained 2 tenths this lap, and there's only the last sector to go, so I think Raikkonen is probably going to settle for P2 at this race. Robin's still lapping very quick on the hard tires on the 1 minute 20, so yeah, I don't think we should expect you can see a fastest lap from Robin. So yeah, he's looking to go for another race win, his second race win of the season is Robin, and extend his championship lead. Yeah, it's not that much quicker, Raikkonen, but still looking for a very good second place, as Denis is looking for a very good third place, and he goes down the side of Joki and into P3 again. Those two swap places. The ERS for both of them, Joki's on 44, Denis on 17, and he's down on fuel, so he's not looking good. His tires look a bit short all over the place. But yeah, let's see if he can hang on. Swimming on the softs. He may get the fastest lap of the race on this lap. I think, yeah, he is looking like he's pushing. Maybe a bit too much as he's going off the track. But yeah, it would be good for him to go for the fastest lap. Raikkonen just lost connection. Oh no, that's very bad. Maybe we can't invite him, but hopefully he can join through the invites of Robin, who he was chasing down before. Hopefully he can do that. Oh, his AI is going back into the pits. Oh, that's so heartbreaking for Raikkonen. It's looking very promising to go for P2 at this race.
Why would that happen?
I mean, he's probably lost connection, I don't know.
Yeah, but why would the AI pit?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No sense. He was on flat medium.
Jokey. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, of course. Jokey ahead of Denis. This time it's for P2. And Robin's got a 20-second gap. He's got the fastest lap anyway, so everything is going very well for Robin this race. As Jokey is slightly pulling away from Denis, which could be crucial. If he's got, I think, a half a second buffer from Denis, you can see that Denis is really struggling both on ERS and probably on fuel. He's just about hanging on to the DRS, which is going to have available this straight and in a few corners time, hopefully, for the Haas driver. But yeah, very good races from Tenkate as well, who didn't have great moments in the race. He could have been fighting for P2, but yeah, a couple of mistakes haven't allowed him to. Let's see if Denis is going to be able to go for a move on Jokey. Denis is looking quite fast down the straights on his Haas. Let's see if he's going to be able to. You see the closing speed is a lot. He's going to be on the back of Jokey by the end of the straight. He goes down the inside. No, he doesn't. He just has a look. And it's very crucial now that Denis stays behind Jokey for the remainder of the corners. And see the understeer is incredible on his setup. I'm not sure if he has a slight wing damage. It doesn't look like it's big, so probably not affecting him too much. Johnny as well in P5. He's made a lot of he's only made one position up, but he's made a very good race. I think he's followed the strategy he wanted to. Suomi's gonna lose a lot of points on Robin. Same as Tenkate is gonna lose a fair amount of points, 13. And I think it's gonna be 14 if Robin keeps the fastest lap. But yeah, Suomi penalty doesn't really matter. The other Suomi is 13 seconds behind him, so it looks like he's gonna remain in P7 for now.
I mean, Robin wouldn't get the fastest.
Who's that? Who's got fastest lap?
Because Raikkonen has it, and he's doing that.
Oh yeah.
But even if he didn't finish and had the fastest lap, no one would get the fastest lap. That's good.
Oh, does Raikkonen have the... I thought Robin still had it.
Yeah, Raikkonen has.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. So Raikkonen...
back now.
Yeah, he has as well. So let's see. It's gonna be interesting actually. It's got Johnny ahead of him, 3 seconds. Should be able to close in on him in the next few laps, but yeah, let's see. His AI wasn't very respectful on the ERS as well. He's got 24% left as he rejoins back. He's got a fresh set of tires, which yeah. Anyway, let's see. He's still gonna get a few amount of points, and you know, nevertheless, his appearance was very good on the first half of the race. So let's see if he can get a top 5 finish. Denis dropped back from the DRS as he He's got it for a few thousandths of a second, but he's not going to be able to go for a move at the end of the straight on Joki, who seems to be pulling away a lot on the corners. I think this lap it's my voice going off. I think this lap Joki is going to pull away from the 1 second. Let's check the penalties.
He's just fresh at tires, but 2 laps still. And more ERS to push.
Yeah. Deneen's got 1 penalty as well.
Okay.
Joki, no warnings, so it's not looking great for Deneen, as I think he run wide there a little bit. You can see Raikkonen already 2 seconds behind Johnny. So looking for a top 5 finish. Check the penalties between those two as well. Johnny on 1 warning, Raikkonen on 1 warning. I think that was on the lap he disconnected because he doesn't have a sector 2 time there on the lap 23. But either way, none of them looking to get penalties. It's going to be a straight out fight for P5 between the Renault and the Mercedes on the following laps. Suomi is looking to close in the gap on Johnny at least on the next couple of laps on the fresh softs. Deneen's got a penalty now, which is another penalty. Tenkate doesn't have any. Tenkate doesn't have a single warning, so Deneen is currently out of the podium. Tenkate is looking to get P3 with Johnny, Raikkonen, possibly Suomi still battling, got P5. So let's see the.
No, Suomi won't.
That's going to be a really close fight between Deneen and Tenkate. Gaps just over 5 seconds. Deneen's got 6 seconds if he needs to have a 6-second gap to Tenkate if he wants to keep the podium. But now I think maybe on this lap Raikkonen is going to have DRS at the end of the lap. I think he will be.
Not quite.
I think he will.
Or maybe. I mean, where's the checkpoint?
It's just after the chicane actually, so it's...
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did, so... There we go. Opening the DRS. Closing in on the Renault. Yes, Suomi's not making inroads. Raikkonen is letting him know he's there. And yeah, Deneen's still somehow hanging on just about Joki's DRS as the gap to him and Tenkate is 5.5. Raikkonen has lost the back end. And he's retired from the race. And that's a big shame for Raikkonen. He was about a lap away from getting at least the points for P10. He's not going to get anything out of this race after such good effort on the first half of the race, but either way, now focusing on the battle of P3. Deneen clearly doesn't have DRS this time around. Joki's pulled away and he's looking set to go for P2 in this race. Deneen with two penalties, 3 seconds each, so he needs to get about 1 second to Tenkate over the next 4 laps to get the P3. Somehow Deneen's looking very quick down the straights. His gap's gone down to 9/10 from 1.4 in the last sector, so it's really interesting how the gaps change over the course of the last sector. But yeah, I think the gap's going to go up again before we get to the detection point of the second DRS zone, and it is going to be around 1.1. Tenkate is still around 5.3, so at the moment he's still within the podium positions. Got yellow flag in sector 3.
it was Suomi Pelor getting out of Robin's way. Blue bag.
Yep, Robin's lapping people. 31 laps after the beginning of the race. Started from pole and made a faultless race. Only time he seemed challenged was from Raikkonen, who disconnected on the medium stint. He wasn't really closing in that much, but huge missed opportunity for Raikkonen to get a P2.
Yeah. Suomi Peluri going for the fast stuff on the soft.
Yeah, he is. Just behind Robin, so let's see. At the moment, no one would get it, I think, because Raikkonen's got it, so
yeah,
it's DNF. So
at the moment, but if Suomi gets it, then he gets one.
And Suomi's looking really quick. I mean, he's quicker than Robin, so that's a good sign. As I think Robin's still lapping on the. Yeah. I think Robin's still lapping.
And one lap also. But will it be the fastest lap?
They go across the line. It's got DRS from Robin as well. It is just about a 20.3.
Yeah, it was.
By a few hundredths of a second over Raikkonen, who cannot do anything to respond to that. And let's see if Suomi tries to unlap himself in a Esteban Ocon-esque move. I don't think he will, as he runs wide in turn 3, but Tenkate is looking really fast as well. Gap's now 4 seconds to Deneen with 2 laps to go, so I think Deneen's well and truly lost the podium, and the gap to him from him to Joki is now 2.7, so he's dropped a lot of pace on the 20 lap hold hard. And yeah, Robin's looking set for a win. Joki after a very solid race in P2, and Tenkate is looking to snatch the P3 after what could have been a second place, very probably with Joki, as he made the one mistake and then he had to make another one for Joki to get past. So yeah, it was looking very good for Tenkate, but either way, podium will still be very good for him. Joining P5, very good race from him as well, especially on the track limits side, and the being very consistent on the lap times as well on both stints, which went to plan, I guess. Suomi, not a great race, but he is going to finish on a P6 and get the 8 points, which will still keep him in a fight for P2 in the standings with Tenkate.
Suomi almost going up.
Yeah. A bit of gravel on his tires, but
yeah, he went to the grass almost off, but yes, alive.
Robin starting sector 3 of lap 33, the 99th sector of the race, and it's been 99 flawless sectors. Yeah, it's even the last lap's looking very quick for Robin so far, as he negotiates the last 3 corners under the Fanatec sign and into the last chicane of the Spanish Grand Prix. Around the final corner, Robin wins for a second time in season 7 and extends his championship lead and gets the fastest lap by 5 thousandths of a second. Impressive stuff by the Racing Point driver. 26 points in the back. Joki is going to come home in P2 after a very solid drive in the Williams, but a lot of seconds away from Robin, 24 seconds away. Deneen is going to cross the line in P3. He's going to lose the P3 to Tenkate, who gets the podium here in Spain. Deneen down to P4, and Joni around the final corner is going to be the last of the top 5 finishes after a very good drive as well. You can see the penalties elevating him just 6 seconds behind almost podium finisher. Suomi on Yeah, he does have a front left puncture. Interesting.
12 lap old, so well, yeah,
Okay, well that makes sense then.
yeah.
I think got on the very last few meters. Finishes in P6, 8 points. Matt around the last chicane, as Suomi has already finished for P8. Matt across the line for P7 and 6 points for Renault. Good day for Renault as well. Racing Point,
Yeah.
of course, most points gained, winning driver, fastest lap, and taking pole position. A great day for Robin.
Yeah.
Podium celebrations, very infamous flags in ERL, Dutch and the Finnish one, especially in F2. And the podium celebrations for the Racing Point drivers and the Williams of Jockey. And there we go. That's a wrap for the Spanish Grand Prix, as we get the official, unofficial results of the round 5 season 7. Robin wins, 23 seconds ahead of Jockey in the Williams, Tenkate in the Toro Rosso in third, Deneen in P4 taking 12 points, P5 is Johnny, P6 Suomi on the Racing Point, Matt in the Renault in P7, and Suomi rounding off the finishes in P8. And mention to Raikkonen, very good performance, disconnected and unfortunately crashed in turn 3 in lap 29, so that's no points for Raikkonen, unfortunately. But that has been it for round 5 of season 7 here in Formula 2 in Spain. From Janel and I, it's goodbye and see you next time.